Welcome to Farm Talk, where we look at issues that affect agriculture and ranching here in the natural state. Brought to you by Heritage Agriculture. Here is your host, Mike Linton.
Welcome to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm your host, Mike Linton. My guest today is the governor of the great state of Arkansas, Governor Asa Hutchinson. Governor, welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk.
Well, thank you, Mike. It is great to be back. It's good to be talking about farming and agriculture.
Absolutely.
Again.
Absolutely. It's not like you don't have other things to worry about. So
that's true. There's a few other things I have to talk about from time to time, but agriculture, as you well know, and the whole purpose of this show is it's the #1 industry in Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
I recognize that, and so it's good. We've got to concentrate on it as well as COVID and all the other responsibilities that go on in government.
Yes, sir. Okay, Governor. To say that 2020 has been a crazy year would be an understatement. Let's take a minute and review 2020 a second.
Well, first of all, it's been a tough year on everybody.
Yes, sir.
On our nation and our state, and you look back in this year, and in January, we were rocking with one of the lowest unemployment rates in our history. Mm-hmm. We were creating jobs left and right, looking forward to a booming year, and all of a sudden the coronavirus hit, and on March 11 was our first case, and we declared a state emergency. We've been in that position since that day. And you look back, and whenever it first started, there was just really fear and a total lack of understanding other than we've got to do something. And so our schools were closed. We put, businesses went out. People pressure from all over the country to shelter in place. And I looked at that, and we did put some restrictions on businesses trying to control everything, but it didn't make any sense to shelter in place. We have to have movement. And so we never did what everybody else did, which was to close all of our businesses
Total shutdown.
No, we didn't do a total lockdown, shutdown. And then as soon as we could, we lifted restrictions. And you look across the country, and whether it's California with tight restrictions or other states with fewer restrictions, the coronavirus has just moved its way through. And we've learned that there's one thing that makes a difference, and that is being disciplined, wearing a mask, and protecting yourself and others. And so that's what we've concentrated on. And so as the year progressed, our economy started coming back more quickly than others, and we wanted people to go back to work. Our unemployment rate started coming back down again, and as expected, this fall we got hit again. We got hit hard. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing anyone can do about it because it was Christmas, it was Thanksgiving, it was the gatherings, and that's not something that the government can do anything about or should do anything about. But we have a high case number, and so now it's all about the vaccinations. But in 2020, you think about the coronavirus challenge, but guess what else happened? The second emergency, which was the riots,
Yes.
And in Arkansas, they were really civil protests that we had.
Yes, sir.
But there were some violent elements that came in that did destruction on property, and that was the second emergency we had. I had to take quick action to make sure that we protected our public property, and I'm glad that we did, because the rule of law means something, and we respect legitimate protests, and we've acted on the legitimate issues, but we're not going to have protesters destroying property or the other elements that come in and destroy property, which happened in our case, and we shut that down very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I think we've handled those two emergencies as well as we could.
Well, of course, all of our businesses are in rural America, but we have taken every precaution that we possibly can. We spray our dealerships down daily, and we wear a mask. We have the mask mandate. We ask everyone that enters our dealerships to wear a mask, and if we can't stay 6 feet apart. And like I said, we've taken every precaution possible, but we have to keep the train running down the track. I mean, we can't just completely stop.
Well, the food service is one thing that we have a greater appreciation for than ever. Agricultural products, the food that is produced on the farm, We need that during a pandemic or not a pandemic.
We have to eat.
We have to eat, we have to produce, and that's what farmers do, and they do it well. And so there's never a question but that farm operations need to continue. But thank you for setting a good example of leadership in your business. And that's what most Arkansans did.
They have.
We got a few contrarians, but by and large, everybody did the right thing, and we're managing our way through it.
Yes, sir. But like I said, we tell our team, I've told our team and our guys, hey, take every precaution necessary, but we got to keep going. People are counting on us every day, and we've got to be here, and we got to make it happen. So, and we appreciate everything that you've done. So,
well, y'all have done it well, and you look at agriculture this last year, and I'm glad that you know, the rice prices have been stable, but the corn, soybeans, been good prices.
Easing up.
And yes. Whenever ag's got a smile on their face, the state's got a smile on its face.
Yes, sir.
And so very proud of our producers that have continued to work hard in a safe way. And the demand has been there. And
yes,
I think we'll continue to see that. And I look back over this last year, Secretary Sonny Perdue, who's been such a great Secretary of Agriculture, he made a quick decision that even during the pandemic when schools were closed down, that the free lunch program would continue. Our services of agriculture products through the schools would continue. And that's important, one, for the health and safety of our children, but also because it continues that use of agricultural commodities yes. in the public school environment. And so we implemented that in Arkansas to make sure that hungry mouths could be fed, and that that program was able to continue.
Yeah, well, 2020, like you said, it's been one to, you know, we'll never forget. Okay, but 2021's here. We have to move forward. You know, so you know, saying that, looking forward to 2021, hopefully we'll have a better year. We have a lot of issues, and I know you're working on a lot of different issues. Let's talk about a few of them.
Well, we are. I mean, first of all, we have all been impacted by knowing someone who has contracted COVID or even died of COVID, and regretfully, the friends and loved ones that I've lost are more than you can count on one hand. Mm-hmm. And so it's seriously impacted our communities, and I think of that as a challenge. Our cases are high right now, but there's a new sense of optimism and hope. We can see the time this late spring or early summer that's going to be normal this summer. I hope we can get back to traveling. I hope we get our vaccinations out there so that we can relieve ourselves of the worry and the high case numbers that we have now. Now, of course, in 2021, we still need to socially distance, and we need to make sure that we protect each other and follow the guidelines, but there's going to be a day when this ends, and I think we can see it now. Now, if I can, let me talk about the vaccination program for a moment. This is an enormous logistics challenge, and everybody needs to be patient. If we had an unlimited supply of vaccines right now, where we had everything that we need, we would just tell everybody to go to your local gymnasium. We'll have nurses there, and you'll get vaccinated. It might be a line, but we'll get it done. But we don't have that unlimited supply. We're getting a limited amount from the supplier every week, and it's allocated to us, and so we don't have enough to vaccinate everyone, so we're having to prioritize it. And that's where people need to be patient. But we're moving very quickly. In January, our plan is to have all the healthcare workers, to have every resident in long-term care facilities that's willing to take the shot and the vaccination, as well as the staff and as well as the first responders. Our goal is to have that done by the end of January. And then we can move to the population. We actually moved it down from 75 to 70, so in February we should start vaccinating everyone that's 70 and over. That's as right. Well as some of our essential workers. Our teachers will be a part of that, and these are critical ones to get vaccinated because they have that face-to-face exposure with many different people, and that will help us to stop the spread, but also keep people safe. And so it's going to take us some time to get through that, and people are going to have to be patient, because if you just look at the number in that category that we're going to start with in February, it's over 400,000 people.
Wow.
And that does not count essential workers.
Mm-hmm.
You add those in, you'll get close to 700,000 very quickly over a short amount of time. We're working hard to get this organized, and so that people know exactly what to expect. We'll put it all on our website by January 15th. We've got some great logistics planners at work, and so there'll be more details that will be laid out in the coming days and weeks, so that everyone will know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. Governor, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Governor Asa Hutchinson on Arkansas Farm Talk. Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm with Governor Asa Hutchinson. Governor, we were talking about 2020. We jumped into 2021. We were talking about the vaccines. Now let me ask you this. Did COVID-19 distract you from the campaign to extend the half-cent sales tax on the 2020 ballot?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
I was fully committed to that. You know, it did slow down some of the rallies you might have and some of the face-to-face conversations, but we were smart, because we raised the money for that Issue 1 initiative early on. Yes. Before COVID hit. We raised a large chunk of that, and so our funding was in place. We were able to do the advertising on it, and then it was very critical, though, as we came into the closing weeks of the campaign, that I did the fly around. And so I went to every portion of the state. We had rallies. They were very distance oriented and safe, and we wore masks, but we did those rallies really to generate that last minute interest, bringing in our partners in agriculture, but also our county judges, municipal leaders, to showcase how important Issue 1 was. So we didn't get sidetracked by that. It was a little bit of a curve that we didn't expect during that campaign, and add a little bit of unpredictability, but it just goes to show how people understand the urgent need of investing in our highways, but for our agricultural community to maintain and strengthen and to make safer our farm-to-market roads.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, I've been duck hunting. Thank goodness I've been able to do that a couple times this year. And so it gives me a good reason to drive in the Delta, and I'm on those roads. And whenever you see those big combines coming down the road,
big trucks and trailers, and
yes. The damage but the danger because of not having enough shoulder.
Yes.
So we know, and our farmers know, we've got to invest in the maintenance of those roads. Issue 1 allows us to do that long term in the future, but it also helps us to do some new construction to add to our 4-lane system in Arkansas, and to connect our state better, because what farmers need are access to markets.
Yes, sir.
And access to markets comes through roads. Mm-hmm. That's principally how we get access to the markets.
We've got to get our crops and our cattle in and out.
You got to get them in and out. Cattle got to get to the beef market, and then of course it's overseas or in the United States, but we first got to get to the right market, and that's through our road system. So farmers understand that. We're isolated in some parts of the state,
yes,
but our roads connects us. So Issue 1, thank everybody for their support of that. I think we wound up with 55% of the vote or more, and it was a great victory during a difficult time that will set Arkansas apart.
Yes.
Set Arkansas apart from other states as to our willingness to commit to infrastructure, safe bridges, safe roads, and we have a consistent flow into the future.
Yes, sir. Did you ever fear that you wouldn't ultimately get the support for the tax extension?
Well, you always worry about it whenever your name's on the line and they call it.
You're talking about taxes.
You're talking, yeah,
so,
you're talking about
yeah,
taxes. What's interesting, in some communities, they might vote against a local tax extension for a local project, but they voted for the highway.
Yeah.
And that really surprised me to a certain extent, but shows the commitment again to highways. But yes, we're an anti-tax state. I'm anti-tax. We've lowered income taxes every year. We're going to continue to do that.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
That's right. And we're down to, hey, everybody knows,
Yeah.
farmers knows, we're down to 5.9% individual income tax rate in Arkansas. That is good news.
It is good news.
And that's January 1 of this year. So we believe in that. So obviously extending, not increasing, but extending a sales tax was always something that was debatable. We had some opposition to it, but the people always supported it, and I had confidence in it.
What does the extension of the tax mean for the farmers and ranchers?
Well, it means their future is more certain. Our farmers and ranchers have tremendous investments of capital in their ranch or their farm, both from equipment to their handling of their cattle, to their infrastructure for their roads within their system, for their irrigation systems. That's capital investment that individuals are putting at risk. So long term, you know, where's your access to the market? Is the state making an equal capital investment? And the answer is yes, we are. And so I believe that secures to a greater extent our agricultural community into the future. I think that the next generation is saying, hey, the state's a good partner in this. Let's go ahead and let's carry out the passion that I have in working on the farm. So I think it demonstrates a good partnership between our state and our farmers and ranchers.
What I appreciate about you, sir, is you understand the importance that our farmers and ranchers mean to our economy and what they mean to Arkansas.
I do indeed.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Governor Asa Hutchinson. Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm with Governor Asa Hutchinson. Governor, you have transformed the Department of Agriculture since you took office. You implemented a limited transition in 2015 when you put the Plant Board, the Livestock and Poultry Commission, the Forest Commission under the same roof. The department now includes Arkansas Natural Resource Division. How has the transformation improved the delivery of services to the state, and has the transformation saved money?
Oh, the answer is the overall transformation of state government has saved money. But we have to remember our transformation of state government, and that's moving from 42 different departments of government that reported directly to me down to 15.
Wow.
There
There
were three main goals in that transformation. One was improve the delivery of services to the Arkansas people. Secondly, to give me better management control, to help me manage, and I could not have got through this pandemic without the transformation that gave me the key cabinet officials in the right position to manage our departments of government. And then thirdly, though, was the savings of money. And yes, it has saved money. I expect over the long term it will continue to save money. And that's one of the reasons that we have right now a $200+ million surplus because we've managed state government in a conservative way. But when it comes to the Department of Agriculture, the big concentration is the improved delivery of services.
Yes.
And because we're all on the same team, we're working in the same department, whether it's forestry, whether it's livestock and poultry, or whether it is the plant board. We're all on the same team supporting agriculture, and it allows us to support each other within those divisions. And a good example is natural resources being a part of it now. That's where the big checkbook is.
Yes.
And the natural resources checkbook had to be an integral part of agriculture because it supports our farmers and our ranchers and the investment in infrastructure. One of the big projects that we have are the two irrigation systems in eastern Arkansas, Grand Prairie and Biomeadow.
Yes.
Biomeadow. And those projects will help us to reduce our use of groundwater, increase our use of surface water. Those are big investments, but the Department of Agriculture has done a good job of bringing that and managing it in a way that is more cost effective for the farmers. I've been very personally engaged in that. We want to bring that to fruition, big investments, but we want to make it work. But the Department of Agriculture has improved the delivery of services.
Well, I can see we're taking 42 different offices, combining them to 15 and bringing them all together could really make things work a lot simpler and a lot easier.
If I gave each department, when there were 42, each of them 1 hour a week, that's 42 hours a week, just in meeting with my direct reports. Obviously, that's not efficient.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for the General Assembly really engaging and supporting that. They've been incredible partners for that, and I look forward to working with them in the future on that issue and many others.
Yeah. Okay, Governor, you know, I know you've got a full plate. Thank you for taking time to visit with us today. Anything else that you would like to hit on while I have you?
Well, whenever you look at the future in 2021, we've got my final session, my final general session of the legislature will start next in January. Mm-hmm. And so as we meet, you know, always the question is, how is agriculture going to fare?
Yes.
Well, I want to assure our farmers and ranchers that they have a powerful voice. Our legislators listen to them, and agriculture will do well in this session of the legislature. The sales tax exemptions for input of the agricultural products will be protected. We're going to look again at some tax relief, for example, used cars.
Yes.
Right now, if you buy a used car between $4,000 and $10,000, you pay 6.5% sales tax. I want to reduce that from 6.5% down to 3.5 cents, and that saves a lot of money if you're buying in that category of used cars. And so that kind of tax relief is going to help our farmers and ranchers, as well as providing broader base, hopefully take another whack at reducing the individual income tax rate in Arkansas. Yes. So we're managing it well. Looking forward to the session. It'll be good for our farmers.
Well, Governor, you do a wonderful job leading our state, and I would personally like to thank you for everything that you do for all of our farmers and ranchers and Arkansans in the great state of Arkansas.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be with you.
We'll see you next week on Arkansas Farm Talk.
Thank you for watching Arkansas Farm Talk, brought to you by Heritage Agriculture.